What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be going over Jurassic World Rebirth. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and as I talk about anything movie, TV show, video game later, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. And like I said, today we're talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, is this movie the rebirth that the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park franchise has needed, or is this finally the meteor that strikes to make sure that this franchise goes extinct? Let's get into all that stuff now. But before I give you all my thoughts about Jurassic World Rebirth, let's go into one of my favorite segments, and that is going to be Popcorn Bucket Review. Now, in this Popcorn Bucket Review, it's a little hard to get it all in the screen, but this is a fossilized footprint from AMC, which is freaking sick. And basically, you put the popcorn in the footprint itself. You lay it on its side. Let me try to get the angle right. Lay it on its side, and you eat the popcorn right out of the footprint. Now, this is a pretty interesting and awesome idea that I generally loved. And it's generally pretty cheap as well, too, for how big it is. I thought it was going to be like 60, 70 bucks, and it wasn't. Especially because it's just like a very thin sheet of plastic. But this is for sure a pretty cool display piece. Like, no one would ever tell that this is a popcorn bucket. They just think you have a fossilized footprint of a T-Rex, which is pretty cool. And one last thing before I give you all my thoughts about this movie, I just want to say another ginormous thank you to everybody who has been tuning into this channel. Just as of yesterday, right before I went to go watch this movie, I hit 200 subscribers, and that is the milestone that I've been trying to get to before my second year on YouTube. And it's been absolutely amazing. I appreciate everybody that subscribed, everybody that likes, comments. Means the world to me. I love hearing, all you guys' thoughts every time I put out a review. You guys put your thoughts out there and it aligns with mine. It always makes me feel like what I'm doing is actually gently getting out there and people are enjoying it and they want to join the conversation. So it's very fun. For me, movies has always been a way as like a self-therapeutic thing for myself, a way to kind of get out of the crazy world that we all live in. So for me, doing this is not about becoming famous or money. This is just something that I love to do. I love talking about movies. I love watching movies, getting into new genres I never used to get into before. So again, I really, really appreciate everybody that's been supporting the channel. I hope to continue growing this channel and hopefully get better at doing this as well. And speaking of that, if there's anything that I do that you guys don't like, please, please, please let me know in the comment section down below. I promise you I will not get offended. Nothing can really offend me at this point anymore. So please, please let me know if I'm doing something that you guys hate, that you guys think is stupid, or let me know things that you do like that I do. And so I can tweak this channel for you guys to make sure you guys have the best viewing experience. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into my pros. Now, starting with the pros, this movie is visually very, very nice, very awesome, great giant scenery, set pieces. I'm not sure if any of this was filmed on location. I didn't delve too deep into that because I'm not sure if this is a real place that they're really at, like this specific island that's on the equator, excuse me. But overall, everything looks very, very nice. The CGI dinosaurs that are all over the place for the most part look fairly good as well. Great design, stuff that we've seen before. Not too much practical dinosaurs anymore like we did in the original Jurassic Park and stuff, but they still look pretty awesome. And I just think this movie has a very colorful, vibrant look to it, very jungly feel. Even like on the ocean sequences, like the ocean looks very vibrant. The skies look vibrant. The dinosaurs look very clear and vibrant as well. So overall, this is just a very good looking movie overall. Secondly, I will say every moment that we do get with a dinosaur is absolutely fun. And I think it definitely brings back a little bit of that vibe, or like that sense of awe every time we are in a dinosaur sequence, or in this case, more of a sense of tension, because every little dinosaur sequence that we get here, for the most part, is a tense fueled scene from start to finish. You have so many great sequences. Like you have the big dinosaur in the ocean. I don't know why I can't think of the name right now. I was saying it all last night. But the big dinosaur in the ocean, as it's swimming around the boat and attacking the boat and jumping in the air, and then you have like the Spinosauruses that are trying to help hunt for it. That entire sequence was absolutely done very, very well. Again, super tense. And then, of course, you have what's going to be probably what this movie is most known for, and that's going to be the river raft T-Rex sequence, where you have these characters that are on a basically a inflatable boat raft, and they're trying to pedal away from a T-Rex that's slowly approaching them, trying to sneak into their path and eat them. And it's just a great tense moment. They shot that sequence so well. It throws you a little bit off guard. It throws you for a loop. It shows you things that you think are going to happen, and it kind of pulls a rug right out of you. So moments like that were done very well. I absolutely love that. That was great filmmaking. Definitely brings you into this world, and it kind of engages you very well. So dinosaurs in this movie done great. I think they're done a lot better than we did in like Dominion or Fallen Kingdom. They're a lot more interesting. They have, again, that more sense of awe, where you're really actually invested in the dinosaur aspect of it. So again, very great tense sequences, great shot choices, great moments. And that raft sequence, I believe, from what I know is what the Jeep sequence, the original T-Rex chase sequence in the first movie was supposed to be. But Steven Spielberg didn't know how to really implement it the way the book really wrote it. So this is kind of their way of bringing that sequence back and actually doing it proper in the movie. And I think it was done very well. And in certain aspects, I think it's done better than the original T-Rex chase sequence and has a little bit more attention to it. So again, very great moment. That's probably what this movie is going to be pretty much known for, is that one specific sequence. And then in terms of characters, I really, for the most part, only enjoyed Dr. Loomis. I think his first name's Henry. I'm not sure if the Dr. Loomis is meant to be an homage to Dr. Loomis from Halloween. If it is, that's pretty awesome. If it's not, it's just a coincidence. But I do actually enjoy his character. I think he is actually a genuinely good person. In this movie, he actually cares about the dinosaurs. He actually cares about the world. So he's like one of the only ones that you actually end up caring for, at least in my opinion. And you want him to succeed. You don't want to see him get hurt or die or get lost. You want to see him succeed in his mission and what he wants to do. And basically what he wants to do is another positive, because I do think it's a good plot point. You know, it might not be executed as well, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but I do think the overall plot that they're trying to go for is getting onto this island, retrieving samples from some of the biggest dinosaurs that are out there right now living, to try to genetically modify some medicine to help with heart disease. So it's a good reason why they're there. The steps that it took to get there aren't really the best, which we'll get into, but overall I think that is a good plot point, a good discussion point with this movie, where you're trying to use the dinosaurs not necessarily for the money aspect or the entertainment aspect, but actually for the wellness of the actual human race itself. So it definitely changes that up a little bit from what we typically see. And lastly, I think the score here is done very well. Obviously, we get that more traditional Jurassic Park theme song, but there is some other moments in here that has really great score and soundtrack, and especially in those tense moments, I think we're done very well. So it's a very pleasing sounding film as well when it comes to the score. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my cons, and let's piggyback off of Dr. Loomis, how I said he's probably one of the only characters that I really cared about, and go straight into that every single other person in this movie I could not give two shits about, in all honesty. Most of these people, if not all of them, were people that only cared about themselves, extremely selfish, only cared about the money, didn't really have any redeeming qualities to really make you care about them. And you end up having the entire movie where you really don't care whether or not these people are going to make it out. They try to give you certain moments, like there's a moment between Scarlett Johansson and I forget what the other guy's name is, but his real name or the movie name, but they're having a conversation and they're talking about like their personal life, and it's meant to be kind of like a heartfelt moment to show you that these characters are vulnerable and, you know, you should care for them because they have a hard past. Yeah, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. You have characters that are just so insufferable, so unlikable. And you also have another set of characters that you have this family that gets stuck in the situation by mistake. And again, you have two daughters that both of them don't listen. They just seem kind of annoying. You have the boyfriend that tagged along on this trip that, again, is very douchey, only seems like to care about himself, very lazy. And then you have the dad who seems like a terrible dad. He seems like he doesn't know how to take care of his family. He doesn't know how to take care of his daughters, how to keep them safe. It is just such a weird family dynamic. And again, they try to give you redeeming qualities for every single one of them, but by the time they do it, it's a little bit too late. I already don't care about them. I don't care what happens to them, if they get eaten by a dinosaur, if they drown, if they fall off a cliff, if they whatever, if they survive. I don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. Their introduction into this whole plot point, or how they even got involved with the actual like main cast, doesn't make sense and wouldn't matter either other way, because the only thing that they serve is that one raft sequence in the river versus the T-Rex. But beyond that, you could have done that with the main characters and it would have worked just as fine. It doesn't make it any less or more important because the characters involved aren't more important. And secondly, I don't even like how this movie kicked off. You're telling me that this, what they call the D-Rex, which you'll see up here, that mutant dinosaur hybrid, whatever you want to call it, somehow escaped, all because, spoiler, it's not really a spoiler, it happens in the first 5 minutes, but all because in this laboratory, someone was eating a Snickers bar and he dropped his wrapper, causing a malfunction in the security system. You can't make this shit up, man. That's just poor writing. That is the way we kick this movie off. Like, that is just bullshit. You look at that and you're like, dude, come on, really? You shouldn't even be. First of all, like, if you are in a concealed situation where security is number one priority, you as a person are not going to risk that. You are going to have some idiots here and there that might do something like this. But when you're in a situation where you are the key holder to the containment for the D-Rex, you're going to be smarter than that. And I think doing that just kind of shows the audience, you're kind of telling the audience to just believe whatever we tell you, just believe that this happened, it's okay, it looks dumb, but just go along with it. And it's not a satisfying way to kick off this movie. It makes it just seem very dumb that the people involved in this laboratory that are holding this hybrid T-Rex aren't the people that should be the ones doing the security detail for this hybrid that is extremely dangerous. So it just ends up being very ridiculous, unbelievable, and it just already puts a little bit of a sour note just in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And I felt like this movie was probably 30 minutes too long. Besides the few, there's really only 3 tense dinosaur sequences in a 2 hour 20-minute runtime, and those 3 sequences take up about 10 minutes each or so, if that. So that means there's a lot of other filler, at least it feels like filler, that is just getting us from point A to point B, and it ends up feeling like it's dragging along so much. Where again, this movie feels 30 minutes too long, and by the end of it, when we get to our final point, it felt like there was no stakes at hand. There was no risk for these characters. There was no consequences. The characters that received consequences were characters that we knew for barely 2 minutes, and it just ends up being another generic dinosaur movie with some good sequences in between. And even when we again get to the end, it just feels like it wasn't satisfied. We didn't really conclude anything, and it left me feeling like, okay, that was cool, it was good, but I don't know. I wish there was more. I wish there was a lot more. Also, speaking of more, the hybrid dinosaur himself, thankfully they only used him in the last, in the third act, really, in the last maybe 15-20 minutes of the movie, thankfully, because if he was like the main dinosaur that's roaming around the entire time, I probably wouldn't have liked it, because the dinosaur looked ugly. He looked like a like fucked up mutant Rancor or something, or like a fucked up xenomorph or whatever. Like, it just didn't look good. It wasn't really that menacing either, because every time it has someone in its hands, it ends up not being able to kill it. It walks always so slow for whatever reason, like it's lurking, like just kill somebody at this point. It just wasn't a good use of a hybrid. And again, I think if we remove the hybrid dinosaur completely out of this film, the film works just the same way. It doesn't add or take away anything from it that this D-Rex is in the movie at all. They could have completely scrapped this hybrid dinosaur plot point and it would have been perfectly fine. If anything, it might have been better. Who knows? But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Is it worth checking out in theaters? I don't know. If you're a fan of the Jurassic franchise, sure, it's fun enough. It gives you tense enough moments for you to actually go check it out. But it is definitely not best of the franchise. It's not the worst of the franchise. It gives you enough to have some entertainment, but it's not that summer blockbuster that we were all hoping it was going to be. But remember, if you guys like something movie, TV show, video game later, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.